Hello, my name is Bernardo Scarambone, and I'm the piano coordinator here at Eastern Kentucky University, where I teach piano, accompaniment, and whatever else I can get my hands on that is related to music. One of the reasons to even have this series is to bring a brand new look at pedagogical repertoire, bringing something fresh and exciting that have might been around for many years, but that the piano teacher and the piano student here in the United States does not know. Another goal of this series is to value the work and the music of Latin American composers, of course. It is that very hard and bumpy road that goes from the curiosity on an exotic culture to acceptance as part of the main body of piano compositions. And in addition, another very important, and in my point of view, one of the best goals of such series is to break that established canon in piano music and expand it to include a larger variety of composers and styles. Now, don't get me wrong. I love and played and recorded many pieces composed by that century-old long list of masters. Works of Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, and Du Bois are the staple of every respectable piano career. But looking only towards one direction creates limitations and frankly robs students from other fantastic pieces of equal value. And that's why I'm so grateful to be here sharing this series with you guys. And following along with this noble goal, I would like to introduce you to this very cool repertoire by the living Brazilian composer Marlos Nobre. Marlos Nobre was born in 1939 in the northeast part of Brazil, and he is a very prolific composer for the piano. Among his pieces, he dedicated a special attention to the pedagogical repertoire with a series called Ciclos Nordestinos, or Northeastern cycles, in allusion to the region of Brazil where he came from. He composed 4 of these to date. Each one contains 5 movements, or short pieces based on typical dances and rhythms of the Northeast in Brazil. Now, to be honest, there is no news here, since pretty much every Latin American composer had to look at their own roots to publish their compositions, and typical rhythms from their country is what we expect from pretty much all of them. What makes this particular cycle interesting for this presentation and for pedagogical purposes is that Nobre does not limit himself only to present typical rhythms and melodies from his home country, but he also introduces students to extended techniques of piano playing. Extended techniques are normally a taboo among piano teachers and students, where many are afraid of it and avoiding pieces that contain that language, like the plague. I firmly believe that we as teachers are depriving students from a very important language in piano playing if we don't address extended techniques. Those techniques have been around for decades, and composers use them often. Cowell's Banshee was composed almost 100 years ago in 1925. In any case, Nobre introduces students to extended techniques in 3 movements of this cycle. Don't get me wrong, he still uses the typical rhythms and the typical melodies from Brazilian dances. But on top of that, students can get a fun taste of some basic extended techniques as well. This cycle contains 5 pieces. Movements 2 and 4 are more traditional, using counterpoint in 2 voices, and I will concentrate on the other 3 for this presentation. Capoeira was born in the time when Brazil was one of the largest slave countries in the world. In order to practice fighting and defending themselves, slaves would add music to their training sections and misleading slave owners who thought they were just dancing. This particular movement opens the cycle and it is built over an ostinato bass played with left hand. And the composer instructs the students to play like this. The repeated pattern is this one here. At the opening, the right hand plays on top of the piano, creating a percussive sound. The point is to have the pianist or the student freed from the constraints of the keyboard right from the first measure. After the initial 4 measures, the right hand plays a traditional melody found in Capoeira. The combination of that melody with the left hand ostinato is very interesting. The second piece is called Canchiga de sergo, or the Song of the Blind Man. This piece has a very interesting background story. Once a blind man was singing at the streets, and behind him a group of kids was playing with balls and hitting them and throwing them, smashing them on the side of a metal building, creating loud crashing sounds. Marlos Nobre wanted to capture that very odd combination of sounds and compose this piece. The piece uses the cluster on top and the bottom notes of the piano. And coexist with a simple and sad melody. Students will learn how to keep track of completely contrasting sounds simultaneously, as well as finger and hand substitution. This is my favorite piece in this cycle, and one of the only descriptive works for piano by Marlos Nobre. The last movement of the cycle is called Candomblé. A religion in Brazil, this piece brings a very energetic accompaniment in an ostinato form. In contrast with the first movement, this time Nobre alternates the ostinato between hands. In another display of pedagogic awareness, Nobre gradually introduces the extended techniques first on the first movement in an ostinato pattern in the left hand. Then he expands that awareness of extended techniques by alternating the hands on the extremes of the piano on the third movement. And then finally, he closes the cycle with both ideas combined, an ostinato with hand alternation. This extremely interesting approach opens a door for students to start to familiarize themselves with an important language that has been neglected by piano teachers everywhere: extended techniques. And with this piece, Nobre reaffirms what he always said: I don't want to be known as a Latin American composer. I want to be known as a composer who happens to be Latin American. Thank you.